Ben here with the PointByPatrol. I had a request on the YouTube channel to shoot a video of how to complete an oil change. And I'm completely fine with that. It's one of the most common things that we do on our cars, and there are certainly people out there that probably haven't done it themselves before. They may take it into a dealership or a quick lube and have it done, but it's an extremely easy process. You only need a couple things, and here we go. So I only use Honda oil filters and Honda drain plug washers. I will not deviate from using a factory filter either. I'm not going to use any of the expensive brands that they sell at the auto parts store. Just go to Honda and get a filter. It's intended to go on the car, and they work great. Next, need some kind of apparatus in order to get your oil filter off. The current one, I like to use one of these claws and a 3-inch extension. Lastly, ratchet with a 17 mils for the drain plug bolt. It's all the tools that you need aside from just a drain pan. And oil. I use Motul 300V 0820. Now in hotter temperatures for racing, I'll switch this up to 5-weight 30. But for spring, fall, winter racing, I'm going to use the 0820, which is the same weight that would have come in the car. This is an ester core oil. It is a racing oil. Works just fine if you use this to drive around town. And I'm religious about changing my oil after every single race event. So now that the season's kind of come to an end, I probably won't have another track day until February or March. I'm going to drive on this oil until that track day. I'm going to track my car with this oil inside the car on that day, and then when I'm done with that track day, I'm going to change the oil. So we're going to go ahead and get started now.
Step 1. Pop the hood.
Alright, step 1, just go ahead and release this. It can just sit there loosely. Step 2, loosen this. Top tip though is make sure that you put your cap right here where the hood latch is. That way you don't forget to put your cap back on. Obviously you can't close your hood and the job isn't finished if the hood won't shut because this is in the way. Okay, so next step, which I've already done, is to remove the splash shield. It's sitting back there. Oil drain bolt is right here. Oil filter right here. So 17mm drain bolt, I'm going to knock that loose, drain the oil, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to loosen up the oil filter. We're going to let that drain entirely, and then we reassemble. Went ahead and pre-loosened these off camera. Again, pretty easy stuff. Make sure you replace your crush washer with a new one. And due to the awkward angle, I'm definitely getting oil in my hands. But I managed to reserve the bolt here. So oil coming out. Once that slows to a drip, I've pre-loosened the filter as well. I'll just be able to move this whole pan. It's big enough that it can catch oil coming out of both. And let those come out until they're at a slow drip. Then I'll completely remove the filter. We're going to replace it with a brand new one. We're going to screw the plug back in with a brand new crush washer. Alright, so now the oil's done draining. Got a new crush washer on this guy. That's going to go back in. Of course, again, awkward angle. This is much easier not filming how to do this, or if you have a lift and the car is higher up, it's much easier as well. So either way. Something really important to mention here is, and this is a top tip so that you don't end up making a mistake. If you touch a drain plug, it is either to loosen or to tighten the drain plug, meaning you do not have idle time between doing that. So since I put the drain plug in, I need to tighten it immediately. And these don't have to be that tight. And again, this is an awkward angle, but you want to make sure that you feel the crush washer actually slip, and then you'll feel it compress slightly. And once it does that, you know it's tight enough. Now I've still got the old oil filter on here. I'm going to move the drain pan and evacuate the oil out of that, and then I'm going to replace it. So you don't want to just pull these off, allow them to drain. So I just loosened it enough so that it can drain out. And once it stops, I'll put a paper towel around it so that I don't get my hands all nasty, and I'll unscrew it completely, turn it upside down, and let all that oil drain out into the pan. All right, so I'm done under here. That's the new filter. We got our drain bolt tight. I just gotta just wipe down any excess oil, and that's it. All right, so last part of any oil change is really putting oil in the car, and then you got to check the level after the fact. The Honda dipstick is notoriously terrible about telling you what the actual level is, but you can kind of use a paper towel to help with that. So I'll go into a little bit more detail on that here in just a second. I pour 6 quarts into the engine because I have the oil cooler, which allows me about 0.5 to 0.8 quarts more, and so it's also easier to remember. It's just 6 quarts. All right, oil cap goes back on. Now we got to go start the car. Allow the engine to run for 3 to 5 seconds. Now we're going to wait 30 seconds to a minute, and we're going to check our oil level. All right, last step, check your oil. Whoop. Yep, I'm at the full mark. Wipe up any messes. Job well done. Hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe. Thank you.